Russia is largest country in the world, which really has every aspects of attraction: mountains, valleys, frozen lands, warm sands, and an incredible number of amazing natural destinations to impress any traveler. The oldest cities in Russia, including Moscow and St. Petersburg, still retain their imperial splendor with their rich architecture and majestic parks, shopping centers, and even metro stations. If you like vodka, then you want to visit Russia at least once in life. Now let's dive deep into the financial structure of this European nation. The Russian economy is a mixed economy with huge natural resources, especially oil and gas. It is the 5th largest economy in Europe, the 11th largest economy in the world in terms of nominal GDP, and the 6th largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity. Russia's vast geographical environment is an important factor in determining its economic activities. More than 30% of the world's natural resources are contained in this country. Russia is often referred to as an energy superpower, as it has the world's largest natural gas reserves, the 2nd largest coal reserves, the 8th largest oil reserves, and the largest oil shale reserves in Europe. It is the world's largest natural gas exporting nation, 2nd largest natural gas producer, and 2nd largest oil exporter. Approximately 70 million people work in Russia, making it the 6th largest population of the globe. The automobile industry of Russia ranks 10th in the world. The country has a large modern arms industry capable of developing and manufacturing high-tech military equipment, and it is the world's 2nd largest arms exporter after the United States. In terms of the number of billionaires, Russia also ranks 5th in the world. Effect of COVID-19 on Russian economy. According to the World Bank Economic Report, Russia's GDP growth rate was shrank by 6% in 2020 due to the COVID-19 crisis and global shutdown, triggering a deep global recession, the lowest in 11 years, which made moderate recovery in following years. When crude oil prices plummeted, that caused the fall by 53% in first half of the year 2020. In the same year, total household consumption was dropped by 4.9%, and total fixed capital formation was dropped by 8%. Most industries experienced negative growth, with output falling by 8.6% over the same period. Similarly, the mining industry fell by 8.4%, leading to a rapid decline in industrial production due to the decrease of commercial volume since the beginning of the year. Whereas, the transportation industry contracted by 7.7%. The economic recession triggered by the pandemic caused direct effects, such as rise in unemployment, a fall in real wages, a reduction in taxes, and a weak banking industry. Likewise, tourism industry faced the loss of about 1.5 trillion rubles, and border closure caused about 500 billion rubles loss. Industrialization under Soviet Union. Beginning in 1928, the Soviet economy was guided by a series of 5-year plans. In the 1950s, the Soviet Union quickly developed from a society dominated by agriculture to a major industrial power. The complex requirements and rigid management of the modern economy overwhelmed and constrained the central planners. The cumbersome bureaucratic administrative procedures hinder the free communication and responsiveness required at the company level to deal with alienation from workers, innovation, customers, and suppliers. From 1975 to 1985, corruption and data manipulation became common among bureaucrats to show satisfied targets, thereby exacerbating the crisis. Beginning in 1986, Mikhail Gorbachev tried to solve economic problems by moving towards a socialist market economy. Gorbachev's reform policies failed to successfully revitalize the Soviet economy. On the contrary, the process of political and economic disintegration reached its peak after the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. Transition, recovery, and growth of Russian economy. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Russia had undergone a fundamental transformation from a centrally planned economy to a globally integrated market economy. Most of the state-owned enterprises were privatized in a great controversy, and then transferred to the ownership of insiders at prices far below their value. For example, under Soviet rule, factory managers often became owners of the same company. Under the influence of the government, huge financial manipulation was performed by enriching a small group of people in key positions of enterprises and government. Many of them quickly poured their newly acquired wealth abroad, leading to large-scale capital flight. The difficulty of generating government revenue and using short-term loans to finance budget deficits in the context of the economic collapse led to the 1998 financial crisis in Russia. In the 1990s, Russia became the largest borrower of the International Monetary Fund, with a total amount of $20 billion in loans. The IMF has been criticized for its loans because Russia had implemented several promised currency reforms and most of the funds. It may be transferred from its intended destination and included in the flow of capital illegally leaving the country. Russia recovered unexpectedly and quickly from the financial crisis in August 1998. The recovery was mainly due to the depreciation of the ruble, which increased the competitiveness of domestic producers within the country and foreign markets. Between 2000 and 2002, many economic reforms to promote growth were carried out, including a major tax reform that introduced a flat tax rate of 13%, and extensive deregulation that improved the status of small and medium-sized enterprises. Until 2008, the growth of the Russian economy led to an increase with raw material prices. Hence, GDP grew by an average of 7% per year, disposable income raised more than double, and dollar-dominated terms upscale by 8 times. Effect of corruption. In Transparency International's 2020 Corruption Perception Index, Russia ranks 129th out of 180 countries. Corruption is deeply rooted in the historical model of Russian public administration, which can be explained by the general weakness of the Russian rule of law. By 2020, the proportion of entrepreneurs who do not trust law enforcement agencies raised to 70%, from 45% in 2017. 75% of people do not believe in the fairness of the courts, and 79% of people do not believe that legal institutions can protect them from abuse of the law, such as organized crime or arrest for suspicious reasons. Russia, being victim of corruption, has faced many frauds in economy and transparency in the history. Information and technology to support economy. The information technology market is one of the most active sectors of the Russian economy. Russian software exports rose from $120 million in 2000 to $3.3 billion in 2010. The department with the highest turnover is system and network integration, with a share of 28.3% from total market revenue. The fastest growing part of the IT market is offshore programming. Russia currently controls 3% of the offshore software development market in the world and is the third largest software exporter after India and China. The growth of software outsourcing in Russia is caused by many factors. One of them is the supporting role of the Russian government, as the government has launched a plan in 7 different places in the country to promote the construction of information technology parks and special zones, which have developed infrastructure, preferential taxation, and customs regulations. Globalization and Russian economy. Economic issues are once again at the center of discussions about Russia's future. During Putin's presidency, the country's living standards experienced a sustained decline for the first time, which had an important impact on internal cohesion and the ability to maintain a firm and confident foreign policy. The root of these problems lies in Russia's powerful, ambitious but unsuccessful globalization strategy. When Putin became president, he showed a very positive attitude towards working in the world economy. He clearly and consistently adhered to his view that a strong Russia must be prosper, and prosperity cannot be achieved without deeper international economic integration. Russia continues to seek a unified response to the failure of sovereign globalization, while not giving up the principles on which it is based. The emergence of the new policy will determine Russia's domestic development prospects and relations with the other nations. Thank you for watching. Subscribe our channel World Facts to support us, and like this video as well. See you in another video. Cheers!